And I think that when people look at the scale or the scope of like, is this dream big or is it not big enough, or is this too big? Where is the end point, and like, how do you get there? Sometimes feels so overwhelming that maybe we don't even start.
It was pretty obvious why the business dream hadn't materialized, and that's because I didn't break it down into smaller parts, and I didn't make it something manageable that I could check off and do every single day.
Really impactful, and something that I guarantee people that are listening to this can resonate with and be like, oh, I know why I haven't started, or I know why I have started over 115 times.
Hello everyone, and welcome back to Cheese Curds Coffee. My name is Alan Thompson, and I am joined by the beautiful, talented, and wonderful wife of mine, Katie Thompson. Hello, star of the show.
Hello.
How are you doing today?
I'm good.
So good. So, super excited about today's episode. Today's episode, why some of our dreams come true and others didn't. Now, this episode is for people who dream big. You're a big dreamer. I'm a big dreamer. And we have lots of dreams, but some of our dreams have come to fruition, have been realized, are part of our everyday life, and other dreams, not so much. So we are going to talk about why some dreams come true and the others don't. What's different about them? How do we make them happen? You excited about today's episode?
Yes. Woo!
So before we get started, we're still on our journey to 100 subscribers. So if you're new to the channel, welcome. If you're returning back to the channel, welcome. If you're new, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. It'll help us a lot. Yes, yes.
Thank you.
Okay, so let's start. So where do we begin? I just wrote a new Substack article. You should check it out. BuildYourProof.com on Substack. But it was really about this idea. I was going through my journal, thinking about what to write about, and I noticed like there had been some patterns popping up. Big about patterns in my journal. And I was like, okay, I had some big dreams. And one of them was starting this business that we're starting right now with Build Your Proof. And there had been like elements of it sprinkled throughout for the last 10 years.
So just to clarify,
yeah.
When you talk about you were going back through your journal,
yeah,
your journal goes back 10 or more years?
10 years.
So good.
On and off. Lately on. It's so funny because some entries are like, oh, it's been 3 weeks since I last journaled or whatever. But it's a 10-year journal. So I started it a little bit. So I hit rock bottom. I mean, divorced, broke, overweight, just like a disaster, unhappy, all that. And then I started meeting with the owners of my company, Matthew and Jason, sort of took me under their wing and started teaching me, like, having me read Audible books and teaching me all these things they knew about business and life. And so I started going through this transformation. So I'm reading a ton of Audible books. I'm simplifying and applying. And one of them, and I can't remember which one off the top of my head right now, just talked about like the power of journaling and all the positives. So I started journaling. And it was such a great habit to get into. So now I get the chance to look back at these journals. And in it, I talk about like all these sort of dreams I have for my life. And over the course of the 10 years, some dreams got done, and one dream in particular did not. So I thought a good place to start would be, what kind of dreams did you have 10 years ago?
Do you know the part of the movie? That's my favorite movie. First of all, do you know what my favorite movie is?
Pretty Woman.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And when they're panning down the street and the guys...
At the beginning or the end?
I think it's in both.
Okay.
But they're panning at the street and the guy's walking up and down the street. Everybody comes to Hollywood with a dream.
Yeah,
What's your dream? What's your dream?
It's so funny. I knew what you're talking about.
This is the episode that throws back to my favorite movie. What's your dream?
Love it.
Sorry, what was your question for me?
What was your dream?
I got distracted.
10 years ago. You dreamed of being Pretty Woman.
No, I dreamed of living in California.
Okay.
Maybe from that movie. I don't know.
Yeah.
But that wasn't 10 years ago. 10 years ago, I wasn't trying to live in California. 10 years ago, my dreams were I wanted to lose weight, number one.
Yep.
And purely, I mean, it was aesthetic. It was vain. It was like I didn't want to know what the number on the scale was. And so then I started the journey and then eventually stepped on the scale and there was just a number. Like there was no rationale behind it. There was for whatever reason, there was a number and I just wanted to lose weight. So I knew I wasn't living a healthy life and I needed to figure something out.
So for you then, healthy at the time meant lose weight.
A certain number on the scale.
This number on the scale.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then I also wanted to find a life partner. I wanted a really healthy marriage. I, like you, went through a divorce.
Yes.
And, it was a fun relationship some of the time, but not a great relationship and not somebody that, we were aligned with our actual life plans and kind of where we wanted to go and how we wanted to spend our time. And that was really tough. And so then that 10-year time frame, I was moving post-divorce by myself out of state, kind of starting over a new life. And I wanted to do that with someone. I wanted to share my life with someone. I didn't want to live my life alone.
Got it. So
I would say those are probably two relevant, big, and they align very much with, who we are as people. Like we talk about health, wealth, happiness. For me, so much of my happiness comes from being in a really happy, healthy relationship.
I love that. So lose weight and a happy marriage. Healthy, happy marriage.
Yes.
So my goals were very similar. So like I said, I had hit my proverbial rock bottom. So I was broke. We were a one-car family. She ended up with a car, so I didn't even have a car. I was running out of room. So I had to, walk and then bike to work. So I wanted to get rich. I wanted, and I didn't even know what that meant. I just wanted to build wealth. I didn't want to be broke anymore.
Wait, I have a question. So
Sure.
you just changed the words that you used.
Yes.
Originally you said you wanted to get rich.
Yep.
And then you changed it to you wanted to build wealth.
Right.
Did 10 years ago you know the difference?
No. And I use them interchangeably now because I think there's this negative connotation to the word rich. And there's like, if you say, I want to be rich, well, you're evil or terrible or whatever.
You're selfish.
Yeah, all the things.
Mm-hmm.
So I wanted to get rich.
Okay.
I also wanted to get healthy. So at the time, right after the divorce, it was like me and 4 or 5 other divorced guys meeting at the bar 3, 4, 5 times a week. Putting beers back, telling stories about our ex, just in a bad place.
Yeah.
So I ended up like pre-diabetic, 50 pounds overweight, all this drama. So I did not get my glow up until after. So I wanted to get healthy. I wanted to get rich. And then eventually, after some time passed, I was like, I want to be in a healthy, happy relationship. I want to find somebody that I can grow old with, all the things, get my storybook ending, as it were. So those are my 3. Well, technically I had a 4th one. And the fourth one was start my own business. So previous to rock bottom, I had started a business. It didn't go very well. It lasted about 2 years. and that ultimately culminated in me closing that business and moving down to DC, and it was, moving from DC to Florida, and it was terrible and awful, and all the things, and I didn't know anything about running business. So, but yeah, so those are the 4 dreams that I would say that I wanted to get done: get healthy, get wealthy, get rich, uh, find long-lasting love, and build a business of my own.
And for you, when you were referring to getting healthy, like for me, it was just purely vanity. I wanted to look good in photos. I didn't, like want to feel uncomfortable in the clothes that I was wearing. And I just picked a number on the scale. You said pre-diabetic. Like, were you looking at that from a holistic standpoint when you say get healthy, or was it just?
I had known what healthy was, and that was like running, like in the Army, you had all these sort of metrics that you could measure, but they were performance based. They weren't necessarily like, my blood work or my VO2 max, but it was more about being able to run a 2 mile in 13 minutes, or carrying a certain amount of body fat from my days as a boxer. So that's sort of how I kind of pictured health, or thought about health, was all about, body fat, muscle mass, cardiovascular conditioning in the form of like, hey, this is my 2
I can
mile
run
run
this
time
and
type thing, or I can run a mile in 6 minutes or whatever it is. So that's how I thought about health, and yeah, I just happened to get a physical and be diagnosed pre-diabetic, which was an eye-opening to me because my father died from kidney failure, based on complications from his diabetes. So that hit pretty hard when I heard a doctor tell me that
sure.
for the first time. So those were the dreams. How'd we do?
Those are, well, I think those are big.
Yeah, they're
Like,
pretty big.
especially if you think about, I guess you had some metrics that you were looking at from a health standpoint. I had a number on a scale that I was looking for.
Sure, yeah.
But outside of that, like, how do you tangibly put a mile marker that says, like, I did the thing?
Yeah.
And I think that
Go
when
ahead.
people look at the scale or the scope of, like, is this dream big or is it not big enough, or is this too big? Where is the end point, and like, how do you get there? Sometimes feels so overwhelming that maybe we don't even start.
Yeah.
So for us, where are we? Where did we go, and did we accomplish the things? I hit the number on the scale.
So let's talk about timeline, right? So Katie and I hit my rock bottom, and about 2 years later, I meet you, which we have to do a whole thing on how we met and how all that went, because I think it's a great story. But so I meet you, and I had dug myself up from like the worst of it. So I had, the Matthew and Jason, they had recommended this money book from Dave Ramsey, Total Money Makeover. It's all about like, budget, cash only, pay off your debts. And so I was like neck deep into that, like deep. And it worked for me, right? Because I didn't have any budgeting skills. So I learned how to budget. I started putting cash away. I ended up buying a car, all cash, like 10 grand. And it was just for me stacking dollars. I was trying every money hack in the game. So I had roommates at the time in my townhouse. I had a part-time job, I think, when we met.
You sure
So
did.
I was working on the weekends.
Yep.
And it was just about, so I was just trying to stack those dollars. I was eating at home.
I would call you were in your hustle era.
Yeah, for sure. I was eating at home, which helped the budget, right? So I was food prepping, my chicken and rice and my different sauces, barbecue sauce, teriyaki
Yep.
sauce. And so I had also joined a CrossFit gym. So I was going regularly. I had got to the body fat percentage I liked. I was running those miles in the times I liked. So the health goal I had sort of started to meet. The get rich goal I was in progress, but and then I started looking for the happy relationship, the happy marriage. So that's where I was when we met. And so I started the journal sort of February 2016, and then we met in September 2016. So
You made a lot of progress between February and September.
well, I had been working on it.
You
I just
weren't journaling
I
about
just
it.
wasn't
Got
journaling
it.
about it. Yeah. So then, where were you at when we met on your dreams?
Well,
Well, I know where you were with the happy relationship dream.
yes,
You were-
there wasn't a happy
you were on the
relationship.
apps,
I
yeah.
was. We met on a dating app.
Yes,
so
you
there's
were on the
that.
apps. I was on the apps. Yeah,
I was.
different apps.
I was
though.
looking.
Yeah,
I was putting myself out there in
You
places that I thought I might be able to find someone.
for sure, for sure.
So I was on the journey,
Yep.
and it was a priority for me.
Yep.
When I first moved, so I moved to Orlando in 2016 in February. So funny that like you started your journal and I was like moving in next door, literally next door. We didn't know it at the time.
Yep.
And I started online dating purely because I just wanted some social interaction, like not necessarily because I thought like, oh, the man of my dreams is, I'm going to meet him in my first week in Orlando.
Right.
But I knew a bunch of people from work. I worked in tourism and hospitality for my entire career before I moved here. And so I knew a lot of people, but I was eager to find a life outside of work.
Right.
So I put myself out there and then that became exhausting. And so then I like stopped dating for a while because I was just overwhelmed and it wasn't filling my cup anymore. And I really wasn't finding anybody that I felt like I really had a match with. And so I made some friends, but nothing, terribly serious. All the while I am like partying like crazy. There's a handful of friends that I had from my life up in Boston when I worked for a spring break company that was very much in the nightclub scene and lots of heavy drinking and maybe more junk food and dining out than I ever needed in life. And I also worked.
How's that health goal going?
So that's my point. Like I worked for a national restaurant group, and I was like constantly eating and entertaining and being entertained in this job. So I had a gym membership, and I would go sporadically to LA Fitness, and I would take group fitness classes. But that was the extent of what I knew how to do. I didn't know how to use any of the weight equipment. Yep. I certainly didn't know how to use free weights, right? Like I could figure out a curl, but like I'm not doing that. Like I don't know what that is.
Right.
I also don't know like how heavy, how many like none of that. So I would have, if you were asking like what qualities am I looking for in a man, one of the things was like I want someone I can work out with. Selfishly a little bit because I need him to teach me how to do things.
Sure.
But yeah, it wasn't on track to achieve the goals per se. I was like casually dipping my toe in the water.
Got it.
And then fast forward to when we actually meet and it's like, wow, this is actually a really wholesome relationship. Like I could see a future with this man. And we started having really early on conversations about our future and dreaming together instead of having, a siloed, this is what I want to do, or that's what, you want to do. It was like, what would that look like if we did this together? And what would you want? How many vacations do you want to go on? Where does the house, what kind of house are we talking about? Are there kids? Are there no kids? Or like all of that.
So let's give the audience some context. So we were a case, how you are in a relationship and it's new and these like topics come up throughout the course of dating, and for me it was almost like
check the box.
Checking this box.
We all had a checklist. Don't pretend that we didn't. We all had a checklist.
Yeah, it's always so funny. Like politics, check. Religion, check. Morals, check.
Right.
Right. Travel. Can you travel with each other? Check.
Oh, we did that pretty early.
Yeah, we did. Um, so, and I don't even know, it might have been the book I was reading at the time or whatever, but it might have been
Highly likely it was a book that you were reading.
Ramit Sethi's book.
I Will Teach You to Be Rich?
Yeah.
I don't know. I haven't read it.
Anyway, so we got to fix that. Anyway, so Katie and I decided that we were going to have the meeting at the Cheesecake Factory. And we're going to list out like, these are the goals that we're trying to accomplish. And wanted to make sure her goals align with my goals, and what goals did we have that were mutual or together. And just wanted to dream as big as we could together and see what that looked like and felt like. And I felt like that was a big moment in our relationship. So go to Cheesecake Factory, and I think did we eat?
We ate, yeah.
Yeah, we ate lunch. I know we ordered coffee and cake and all that. But we stayed there for like...
We were there for a long time.
2 hours.
But like,
2.5 hours.
Also, I think some of the coolest stuff was when Alan says, like, we dreamed big. The idea behind what we were doing was to try and figure out if we built this elaborate, extravagant life that we could only dream of having.
Yeah.
How much would it cost?
Yeah.
And then what would it take for us to be able to get there? So when we say like we dreamed big, we were like, I don't know, 5 vacations a year and
what kind of house?
A house in the US, wherever we were living, and a vacation house somewhere else. And like we put a hefty amount of what I considered pretty lavish lifestyle things into what this might look like. And then we, back of the napkin math, right? And certainly we weren't like accounting for inflation at this point. But
and this is pre-AI, so we had to Google.
Yeah, it was
Google everything.
It was a very inclusive spreadsheet.
Yes.
But we did all of that, and then we added it up, and it was like, that's actually not outrageous. Like,
get to that number.
We could get to that number.
Yeah.
We just have to make some adjustments.
Yep.
Which was insane to me. Like, had we not done that activity, I would have said, there's no way we will get there.
What's also interesting during that conversation is at least my goals, I don't know if this is true for you too, but my goals started taking on a different shape. Not just that it was just us talking about it, but making it more tangible. Like the wealth number became more tangible, but the health number became more tangible. Because now we were describing this life that we wanted to live together and the trips we wanted to take. And then you start thinking about like, because I remember the exercise we went through was like 10 years from now. Mm-hmm. And it was like, well, I want to be able to, climb up the stairs and climb this mountain that Katie wants to go to.
Machu Picchu was on the list.
And to do all these things, you have to be physically able to do all those things. And started thinking about, at the time, 10 years from now, I'd be 10 years older. And how old were we when all this happened?
Well, you would have been in your late 30s, and I would have been in my early 30s 10 years ago.
So, and so I started thinking about like my physical capacity to do these things 10 years, in my late 40s. And I'm like, I gotta be fit. I gotta be all these things. I gotta be strong. I gotta be healthy. And of course, I started thinking about my dad. My dad and my mom both died in their early 50s. So like that's going through my mind. And like all this is over like cheesecake and coffee. It's just crazy. And so it was a really good meeting, a good date.
It was a date. Because at the time we were not building a business.
No, we weren't. We
We were
building
dreaming
the
about the life that we
life
wanted.
we wanted. It felt like a I don't know, some sort of crazy project meeting or whatever. You know what I mean? It was like just this. You had your laptop, my laptop, we had a notebook, like this whole. It was like this whole thing.
I'm sure the tables next to us thought we were in a business meeting. Meanwhile,
Sure.
we were on a date.
We were on a date. So, so it became so the dreams that we kind of laid out that day became like so tangible. Like there wasn't just a number, like the body fat number, or wasn't just the.
There was meaning behind why we made like the goal.
Right.
Like it literally makes no difference to me if I weigh 145 pounds or 165 pounds.
Yep.
Can I carry my suitcase? Can I climb the stairs to get from the port all the way up to, the blue roofed buildings in Greece?
Right.
Like there's more beyond I need to weigh 145 pounds.
100%. And same for me. There was more, but now getting rid of the pre-diabetic label meant even more to me, right? Because I wanted to be around and I wanted to do all these things with you. So that's where the dreams sort of merged. I mean, we each have our individual dreams, and goals, but that's really where the dreams sort of lined up with each other. Now, what's interesting is I don't think we talked about, me creating a business during that conversation. It was about health, it was about wealth, it was about how we're going to build a happy life and a relationship together and all those things. And so the building of a business sort of took a back burner, but we didn't even talk about it at the time. All right, well, 10 years later, how'd we do?
Happiest, healthiest relationship I could ever imagine. Now, I say that does not mean that we do not have arguments, that we do not get short with each other or, say things that we have to apologize for later.
All that.
We are normal, humans that have human emotions and we work through that. But we also work through that together, which is unique for me. I didn't have, that type of, the way that we talk to each other and the way that we can work through disagreements or maybe misunderstandings is very different than, what I saw in my house with my parents. My parents are still married. They've been married for 48 years. I love their relationship, but it's very different than ours.
Right.
And I don't think I would thrive in their relationship. I am very much thriving in ours.
So after the date at Cheesecake Factory, after we moved in together, we started keeping a dry erase board up in the living room as prominent a place as we could find. And on that board, we'd have our health, wealth, happiness, and what was the last?
I think we call it mind, body, and spirit.
Mind, body, and spirit.
And financial.
Yeah, financial.
Are the 4 categories of
up on
kind
the
of
wall.
where we position our, not a New Year's resolution, like what are we going to look ahead to in the upcoming year?
Right. And then we just set these activity goals. So we didn't make the dream smaller. We just broke it into smaller pieces and turned it into, these are the things that we can do every day, every week, every month to achieve those dreams. And that has been the secret to the success, right? To the accomplishment of these dreams. Like we have date night goals that we have every month, every week now. So we go out every week and we make sure it's a thing, it's a ritual, we just go out and celebrate each other. Typically it's after we've worked on the business or we've done something pretty great. Health-wise, we make individual goals. So mine might be a body fat goal, going back to that. But it's also I pick an annual goal We do Murph every year, so I want to perform well at Murph. Now I have a 5K goal. That's more about, it's really about improving my VO2 max and making sure my cardiovascular health is improving. So one way to do that is to run. And the long story short is training for a 5K helps me do all those things. So it's they're goals with smaller bits that we can do each and every day to make sure that we're moving toward the dream that we have built. So it's still rooted in making sure I can keep up with Katie and carry the bags and carry her if I need to. But it's actionable every day. And so for the goals that we've achieved, I've never been healthier, at least according to my blood work that I just got back. I know I'm equally excited. We've achieved some fantastic wealth goals, some wealth milestones. I never thought we'd be here, but here we are, which is really exciting, and we're happy, which is really cool. And part of that is definitely the fact that we spend a lot of time thinking about being in the present, but thinking about our next trip. We have a really cool thing when we do trips. We have, like, whenever we plan a trip, we decide where we're going, and then we spend months watching YouTube videos and as anything else, like YouTube videos multiple nights a week about the place we're going, or if we're going on a cruise, the ship that we're going on. And then we do the thing, have the trip, and the one thing that we don't do a good job of is enjoying it after. So I think we're going to have to get the photo packages from now on.
Yes.
Okay.
Well, if it's not a photo package,
A photographer.
the recommendation that we heard to hire a photographer, like, were not necessarily to, like, you know, take actual staged photos, but to, like, travel with you and just capture you doing normal everyday things. So, like, we're sitting at a cafe having our coffee, like, just photograph that for us.
I love that.
We're walking through, you know, the streets of whatever city we're in. Like, just photograph us walking. Like, not posed, not staged, not senior portrait style.
So we can enjoy it again afterwards, sort of like we do with our wedding photos.
Yeah.
The photos on the phone are good, but if we could put them up in the house, I think that'd be way cooler.
Well, and we always struggle with the photos of both of us.
Both of us, yes. There's always plenty of photos of you.
Yeah, I have paparazzi following me everywhere, and then you don't like to be photographed, so I have to try and sneak some of them, and
I'm getting over it.
I don't do so well.
So the goals that we accomplished, the life that we're living now, I think the common thread is we broke it down into smaller actions, dreams that we had. We broke it down into goals and then into actions that we could take every day. And we can measure our progress against it. Is that fair?
Mm-hmm. That's the only way for it to feel like you're making progress.
Yeah.
If the goal is $5 million and you're starting at 100,000, you might throw in the towel and say, this is not worth it.
Compound interest isn't working.
It's taking too long and I'm done. Let me just, go back to credit card debt. So we instead celebrate the milestones, track the incremental progress.
Yeah. Have our weekly check-ins with money, monthly check-ins with money. Mm-hmm. So that's working well.
What's not working well?
So the one goal that stands out to me that wasn't part of our conversation at Cheesecake Factory and that is not on our goal board that's hanging in the living room and we don't talk about, or we hadn't talked about a lot, was starting a business that I wanted to do. Now, some of that is goals, dreams change over the course of your life, right? As an example, your dream weight, your health dream changed from being some random weight to wanting to be able to climb Machu Picchu without losing your breath or whatever. Yeah, I love that. There's a couple of big hills in Greece that we need to get
Yes.
ready for.
We're going to climb lots of steps.
A lot of steps in Greece. So as I was going over my journal, getting ready for the Substack article that I was writing in preparation for that, and then getting ready for this, it was pretty obvious why the business dream hadn't materialized, and that's because I didn't break it down into smaller parts, and I didn't make it something manageable that I can check off and do every single day. And I never built a routine around it. And I spent a lot of time trying to figure out why this dream in particular was so different than the other dreams that I had with, being healthy, being rich, and finding my life partner, and making that life a happy life. And I mean, this is the power of journaling. I tell you, it's so good. But basically, what I realized, what dawned on me, like, did you watch Star Trek Next Generation when you were a kid?
No. But my cousin's wife is on it.
One episode or a regular recurring?
I think it was more than one episode. I'll have to go look her up.
Did I know this?
She was also Dylan's sister in 90210. Shout out to Noli if you're listening.
All right, you gotta let me know what episode she was on. Anyway, in the show, there's this two characters. So one is Captain Picard. He runs the ship, commands the ship, and then he has a number one or
number two. He's a number one.
He calls him number one, but he's his second in command.
Got it. Okay.
I was going to say XO, but that's Army talk. So
also don't know what that means.
Yeah. So executive officer. So, so I always saw myself as a Riker, not a Picard. And so Riker basically, he was the one that spent the most time with the rest of the crew. If there was a mission off the ship, Riker would typically go. So he was the one trying to figure it out, solving problems, trying to get things done, while Captain Picard's telling us where to go, like where's the ship going and how's it working, all that sort of thing. And I really leaned into this idea that I was going to be like a really good Commander Riker. And and in my career, that meant I was really good in operations. Like I wanted to be the best operator. So if I worked for a director or a CEO or whomever, I was going to make sure that every problem that came up would get solved. Things would get handled. I would spend time with the team, making sure that we would become the best version of ourselves. All the things required to be a really, really good operator. And so I'm reading through this journal, and it dawns on me, this is a couple weeks ago, it dawns on me that the story of being a fantastic executive officer or a fantastic number one, second in command, that story does not lend itself well to being a Captain Picard or a CEO of a company. Because the CEO was setting the direction. The second in command is managing all the day-to-day stuff. And so I thought back on the number of times I tried to start a business, the one I started in DC or the ones that we started since we've been together. And it would be a lot of busy work. I'd spend a lot of time making things efficient. I would spend a lot of time optimizing, but I would not make the decisions necessary or make the decisions that a CEO would make. Like, this is the product that we're making, this is what we're creating, this is what we're developing, this is what we're going to sell. These are the people we're going to serve. These are the problems we're going to solve. All those types of things. I know those decisions need to be made. I just kept avoiding them. Avoiding them. So in real time, I am recognizing that I have a story that's preventing me from making this, a story in my head that's preventing me from making this dream come true.
And the unique part about everything that you just explained is that the story was phenomenal for your career.
Yes.
And it helped guide so much of the success that we've had in other areas of our life.
Yep.
But to go back to something that you said much earlier in this episode, that sometimes your dreams change or the situation changes.
Mm-hmm.
this is an example where the situation is changing.
Yes.
And by default, you have to change.
Yes.
So the dream doesn't need to change in this case. In other scenarios, maybe the dream changes because it's no longer relevant. Like
Right.
the season of life that you're in doesn't apply anymore.
Right.
But that's really impactful and something that I guarantee people that are listening to this can resonate with and be like, oh, I know why I haven't started, or I know why I have started over 115 times
Yes.
because they're walking a similar path.
Yes. 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 It is. It's fun and amazing and exciting and
So now that you've had this realization, what changes? What changed? Because you said it was a couple weeks ago. And how can people that are maybe finding themselves in the same position navigate this new opportunity or the new territory that maybe is feeling uncomfortable to them?
So I think we found success with our other dreams because we, like I said, we broke them down into smaller pieces. We made them actionable, and we could track our progress over time. And I think for me, building a business is the same way. What this realization taught me was that I hadn't been doing those things. I would break it down into smaller parts, but the parts that I was breaking it down to weren't moving me in the right direction. And it was all about creating busy work. You can call it perfectionism, you can call it whatever you want. It's the same monster by different names. And so I've had to address head on this story that served me in other areas of my life, right? I'm a COO now. I've had a very successful career as an operator, and I wouldn't change anything about it. But I have to be a different person. I have to become a different person in order to build the business that we want to build and to serve the people that we want to serve in the way we want to serve them. And anytime I make a decision that is from the perspective of a CEO, and I've read dozens on dozens of books on like, this is how you're a good CEO. And I have had the opportunity to watch two men be excellent owners of a company, founders of a company. And I recognize now that I was making decisions as an operator, not as a founder. And so it's just been a daily challenge, a daily grind, a daily conversation. I set a plan on my journal, and at the end of the day, I review it. Did I do all the things I say that I was going to do? Did I keep the promises to myself that I say I was going to make, or that I made? And it's just every time I do, it's proof that I am becoming the person that I need to become. I am becoming that CEO founder that I need to become. And it's exciting and scary and all the things. So for anyone watching who's got a dream that they want to go chase and make it real and part of your life, break the dream down into smaller parts. Make it actionable. Make it something that you can make progress every day and measure that progress. And if you're not making that progress, understand why you're not making that progress. And it may be because you have a story in your head that's preventing you from taking the actions that you need to take. That's what I would tell them.
Rewrite your story.
Rewrite it. Rewrite it. Start a YouTube channel.
So good.
Yeah.
You have anything else for our listeners today?
No, I just thought it was a great conversation. So
if you've made it this far, thank you so much for being with us all the way until the end. Drop a comment, leave us some feedback. What are your dreams? And are you getting there? Are you working towards them? Or are you feeling stuck? And maybe telling yourself some stories. Let us know what's going on. We'd love to go on that journey with you. See you next time.